We are the Sipping Beauties. I'm Jax.
And I'm Kaylin.
And this is our podcast.
Don't give a sip. So today we have an episode. We have backlogged like probably 10 episodes. And in recent events, just on the news and everything, we felt compelled to, kind of bring this episode. It's kind of out of our nature. And we just wanted to kind of have a disclaimer because we know what we're talking about is very sensitive. We know there's viewpoints on either side. And we want to start by saying, we genuinely love everybody. We want unity. We want people to come together. And I think by doing this episode, I just want to showcase some stuff. We want to showcase some stuff that we have noticed in the news. We're looking at patterns.
Yeah, and we don't view this as, what's your race, what's your religion, what's your gender, what's your political beliefs. There's a bigger picture here, and that is regardless of the fact.
And I think it's really scary with what's going on right now.
We believe there's a higher level of division.
Yeah, again, this is not politically charged. So, and I think that's important to say, and hence the disclaimer, because this is not politically charged. We have friends all over the spectrum. Genuinely love everybody. And all we want is a few answers or just to promote some self-questioning, self-thinking. And we're not attacking anybody. We're not. I want you guys to, I just had this nice conversation. I mean, it started out kind of aggressive. And by the end of it, we were like, wow, thank you for listening to my point and not being a jerk off.
And I think that's a really valid point because I think these days people are so quick to attack everyone. And I think the media has a big role in that. I mean, they are playing the parts of it's political belief versus political belief or, race versus race. And it's like, no, it's not. We are all people living here together, and we have lived together for many years with,
And you know what? And honestly, I have children, and this shit scares me. And if you're not scared, if you're not questioning what's going on, what are you doing?
I think it's time that, instead of believing what they want the narrative to be, just question it for yourself. And whatever you believe in yourself is what's important. And as long as it's not affecting anyone else, believe what you want. And that's kind of where we're coming at on this episode. And
this isn't a means to attack. This isn't a means to attack people. No. Some people might view it that way, but these are just what we're seeing in the news.
We're watching the last few years go by, the things we've all been through together, and I think it's really important that
we've been beat down. Yeah. We've been beat down,
but we've questioned it from day one. I mean, I've always sat there and I've always been the person that's like, I don't care what someone is paid to tell me or is telling me. I mean, I'm just going to question it, and I'm going to do the research, and I'm going to believe what I want to believe. And I think it's
And you should believe what you want to believe. Yeah. Everybody has valid points. It's not a one-sided thing. I believe stuff on this side, and I believe stuff on this side. And I think most people feel like that. Why does it have to be so segregated?
I feel like, too, even when we look at history, history is so subjective. I mean, it's what did someone record? What did they want the narrative to be? Or what did someone decide that they wanted the side to be? I mean, I don't know. That's going really deep, but it is subjective. So whatever you feel that you believe and what works for you, as long as it's not affecting anyone else. And right now, there's so much stuff that's affecting us all that we're passionate about it. And so that's why
come together.
We gave up the wine today. And ironically, we're not really drinking the juice, but
I can't open it. Dang Kool-Aid.
I wonder why. Maybe because we never wanted to drink the juice.
I can't do it. Anyways, no wine today. We are drinking the Kool-Aid. That's our disclaimer. We love you guys.
We created this in our own kitchen, though, not in a lab.
Mine's taking forever. We love you all. We want unity. We all need to come together no matter what your belief is. Something else is going on, and it's scary. And that's why we're doing this episode. Yeah. Don't attack us. If you feel a certain way, we can talk through it. We want to show both sides of what we think is going on. We're not freaking experts, but
we're just living here like the rest of us.
Just like everybody else.
We're just living life.
I mean, yeah.
Here we go.
All right. Don't give a sip.
Don't give a sip. And let's see what happens to us. Just kidding.
Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to Story Time. We're going to take a trip down memory lane where the world was not as fucked up as it is today.
It truly was a land before time. We want to take it back to the 90s.
Where Dr. Seuss was so cool. and we weren't taught non-educational things in school.
I'm thing 1.
And I'm thing 2. And we made this story just for you. It's not a joke like we normally tell.
We know the truth
all too well. So let's begin our story time.
All right.
The government be playing dirty.
Dirty.
Not like Christina Aguilera. Trusting their bullshit is like the ultimate double dare.
The media slams their opinions like a game of pogs. Our military is fighting for capitalist money hogs.
Speaking of games, president's speeches be sounding like Mambo number 5. Please, dear God, when will our sanity arrive?
He acts like he's clueless. I mean, as if. He can't help himself from taking another sniff.
Killing our children, blaming it on a gun. All for your agenda to see how far you can run.
Plandemics like anthrax and Y2K. Just a few of their tests to see how we'll play.
Tamagotchis were once the game of pets. But now we're the pawns in this game, I bet.
If you thought Furbies knew how to spy, get the hell off TikTok, kids. It's all a lie.
The real puppet masters, like Legends of the Hidden Temple. Blockbuster was a hit, but this movie we live in is mental.
Our freedom is being cut off, like Lorena Bobbitt. Who the fuck is with us to try and stop it?
Macarena was a popular movement of dance. Now we watch countries collude in a twisted romance.
How sweet.
Sweet.
The days of Microsoft protecting us from a virus has disappeared. Don't tell me the lab wasn't funded, because look what appeared.
In a world that needs love, it breaks our achy breaky heart to see them divide us and tear us apart.
This world is filled with rugrats, whiny babies indeed. Too many pussies. Somebody needs to take the lead.
It's all a rat race. We're the Ninja Turtles. All this corruption, we try to jump these hurdles.
Well, people in power are busy getting a Hummer. Our food and water is being poisoned.
Oh, what a bummer. Thomas the Tank, watching in despair. All these trains derail. Oh, who cares?
Sorry about your luck. Too many coincidences of chemicals leaking.
Why the fuck isn't the media speaking?
We'll speak for you.
Speaking of media, a movie of Liar Liar, silencing us with the mask for their own propaganda desire.
No matter what side you're on, we all have to try. Make these clowns in power go bye, bye, bye.
Thank you, Dr. Seuss. Your legacy is still in our minds. Are we clear enough yet? Can you read between the lines? Good night.
And God bless. So we got the wine in here now because we're going to be more serious.
And we have to. We were trying to be funny,
and we are being a little facetious and, also a little bit slanted with our views and our opinions. But in all reality, when we break this poem down that we wrote,
and we wanted to break it down because we know that there are two sides to what we're saying.
But what we're seeing is, the media is really choosing this narrative and they're really causing this division. And that's something that really sits with us because, I grew up all over the world. I grew up in 7 countries. I've been to like 48 countries, and I grew up, in the Middle East, in places where I was the white girl.
The minority.
Okay, and I'm not saying, I know that there is racism out there. Of course there is, and we're not at all saying there isn't. There absolutely is. But I don't believe racism isn't inherently in us. Like, children are innocently born. We don't develop those things till later on by maybe how we were raised, maybe our experiences in life,
what we
maybe
see
media.
on TV.
Right, exactly. And so right now, what I'm seeing personally, and I think you agree with me, is that there's a lot of like, let's create this division. Like, this white person did this black person did this.
Well, it's in the headlines. It's in the headlines. Like,
right.
Instead of saying, they're saying, cop, white cop kills black man. Or if you really want equality, if you really want equity, like, why would not just say cop kills man?
Yeah, exactly.
It's that
let's
easy.
Let's make it about humans being evil. Let's not make it about a race or a religion being evil or a gender being evil.
If we're really getting down to basics.
So, what I want to say is that I grew up all over the world. And I went to international schools. So, I had every single country in my schools. Like, I'm not even kidding. Everything.
Okay.
None of us looked at each other differently.
Right.
And I know maybe those, the places you grew up, there's some small town bullshit, whatever.
There is some small town. We're not taking away from that.
People that I grew up with, which were all races, all religions, and me as a white girl living in the Middle East specifically, because that was very different from what I was used to based on Europe and all the other places I grew up in, I never felt that way. Like, all my friends from there were actually Muslim girls that were from there. And I was in an American school there. And I never felt that way.
Right.
Like, I feel like there's a percentage of this many people that are racist, and majority aren't. Majority are just, they want to get along with everyone because we're no different. We're just humans living here together. And the media is really my problem right now, because I think they have this narrative where, like, they're controlled by the government. It's like, let's create this chaos that doesn't really exist. Well, let's make it bigger than what it is.
I just think that since, we are probably naive white girls. I mean, I grew up in a very small Midwest town where I was probably the most culturally diverse person in the community, and so I get it. I do get it. I see it. I acknowledge it. I understand it. I mean, but I've lived in LA.
We're not saying it doesn't exist.
No, right. But like, even in Tampa here, I mean, we're so culturally diverse in Tampa. I mean, and I mean, we have all types of friends. Like, and I mean, we go out, we're on the scene all the time. And I personally don't witness it. And we're in one of the biggest cities in America. Like, I think it's perpetuated to some extent because everybody I know.
Yeah, and I think that's what my problem with the media is. It's always about...
They're perpetuating segregation. They're perpetuating gender. We have trans friends. We have gay friends. We have, it's like, this isn't an issue, and I don't think it's against not liking those people. It's like, they're just pushing it. Like, you do what you want to do. Like, I love you no matter what.
And again, we said this before. This thing where we're like, if it's not affecting
and we're
anyone, then why does it matter? Like, why do you have to make it about someone doing this by their religion or their race?
Well, I
why
think
do you
they're
have
doing.
To make it that way?
I think they're doing the trans community a disservice by putting it like, oh, the schools, and then people are getting pissed off. Like, no one is upset.
You're the one saying it, and maybe one person came out and made a comment, and that's one person, and then it suddenly became this whole headline.
Pushing it on
it became this whole headline that everyone is thinking what you're
not thinking
saying.
that.
No, we're not.
Exactly. And everybody I know isn't thinking that.
Yeah.
And I know probably I'd say 99% of you watching it is not thinking that. It's not the problem with the person. It's a problem with the narrative. It's a problem with the story. It's a problem with what's on the fucking news. We're not mad at any individual. At least, I mean, the people I know,
I mean, I don't see
and
it.
we travel.
I don't see
We
it.
travel. Like, you know,
I mean,
it's like,
I live out of suitcases.
I
I
know.
am everywhere.
they're in my front room, like all 6 of them.
They are. I travel with 6 suitcases at a time because I need
Anyways,
a different outfit for every day.
It's no, and it goes on both sides.
You know?
It's not Democratic, it's not Republican. There's two different news forces. Everybody's perpetuating this divide. So that's where we're trying to say, like, through our poem, like, we need to unite. Like, this isn't a political issue. Like, this is a humanity issue.
And I think what bothers me, though, and why I kind of, challenged the media a little bit, is that the media was really supposed to be a place where, like, it gave everyone's view, kind of like freedom of speech, how we're all supposed to have that ability to kind of have form our own opinions. And it really seems like, over the last many years, opinion's been very much one-sided.
Well, every generation has their big shit.
Well, no, but that's my
shit.
biggest thing is that it's very one-sided, and it's like, okay,
well,
so
if you want to
whatever happened to us all being able to have opinions, like, why is it right or wrong? Like, what's the real story here?
Like what we
and why is your story real? And then we're all getting censored for whatever else we believe, and that's a fucking issue.
It's a scary issue.
It's a fucking scary issue.
Whatever side you're on, like, you're getting...
And we had this discussion the other night. I always said, if you ever think for a second you've ever been free, I mean, more than ever now we're not, but if you ever think for a second you've ever been free, you've never been free. You've always been held up by kings, by religion, by churches, by government. I mean, if you want to get really down to it, which we're not diving into.
Every generation has their stuff.
There's always been shit that's been masked by what's really going on, and I'm just so sick of that shit, and I don't live that way. That's why I live my own
But
life.
I think it's just so impeding on our lives. I mean, they're inciting fear, which is causing depression, which causes, mental illness. I mean, it's like when you're so isolated and alone and sad and you have no other outlet, like, that's where the fear is. Then you're like, please just help me. Someone help me. Someone rescue me. Like, look at we'll get into the gun violence stuff, but I mean, that's not a gun issue. It's a psychological issue. Like, people are hurting. People are sad. People are going fucking crazy. And this isn't it's a mental illness thing. It's not anything else. And it's perpetuated by the media to be able if you're sad and lonely and depressed and weak, guess what? You're way easier to control. You're not going to fight off. I've been depressed. I can't even get off the fucking couch.
Look what they did. Look what they did the last 2 years. Look what they did. No one talked about. Here's my problem. I don't care whether you're on what side or not.
Right.
My biggest problem was nobody talked about what you were doing to people's livelihood and people's depression issues because they couldn't get the help they needed. And I bet you, if you were able to look at the stats on those 2 years of people that committed suicide. Okay, which the love of my life years ago did, and so I'm very passionate about that. If you were able to look at those numbers, let's really think about what the shit killed,
right,
versus what you did to people, segregating them. As humans, we crave people, we crave emotions, we crave that.
We can't handle isolation.
We crave that.
Right.
And what you did, and you will never take responsibility for it, but what you did to people, that is my biggest concern.
And that has perpetuated this crazy...
So you've caused people to lose their livelihood. Right. You've caused people to lose everything they ever worked for in life. They lost it all. They were forced to lock down, shut down. And that's
some of it has to do with, like,
that's a whole other discussion.
I don't want to say spanking your children, but reprimanding your children. You know what I mean? A lot of that has to do. And how can you? Because you're working. You need to make money. Like, you're not raising your own kids. They're little shits now. I'm a teacher. Like, I love everybody and I love all my kids. But to
shut people down that way and strip them of their livelihood and the needs that they need, mental health.
It takes a toll. It takes a toll.
That is where we're at right now because we've gone through 2 years of that, and now we're here with all this craziness going on that we're talking about.
So everybody knows that the media is bullshit. Like, I mean, to some extent, either side, everybody's in it for their own. Got it. We're all in it for ourselves now, and that's what they're wanting to create. So the next part,
this is so stressful. We switched to line.
We did. So the next part that we said, what was it? The
military.
The military. What did I say here? Whatever.
Our military's fighting for capitalist money hogs.
Okay, yes. Listen,
Yep.
my grandpa's a major in the Marines. He has fought for our country. He is just, I hold the military very dear to my heart. I am not degrading the military. I'm not putting the military down at all. But those are our sons. They're our daughters. They're our sisters, our family, our friends. What the fuck are
People fighting for us?
What are we fighting for? Some capitalist bullshit
Yeah.
so you guys can make some money? Like, did you see that video of Joe Biden saying, "Oh, our military," and they're all sitting like this? Like, I'm not clapping because, like,
Yeah.
I mean, what are they fighting for? The military is there to protect us. To protect us and to also fight for our freedom. And God bless everybody. I'm worried. I'm worried for those kids,
And as you mentioned that, like, that's my other thing is, like, not even putting him down, but, like, that's some scary fucking shit. Like,
It is.
I think a prerequisite to being in charge of a country is being competent. Okay? And I'm not putting him down that
No.
way. I'm just afraid because the things I've been watching the last few weeks,
I know.
like, we just had a massive school shooting in Nashville.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's talking about, I came here for the ice cream. Whether that's a joke or not, which I get it was, it's not appropriate.
It's not fucking funny.
It's not appropriate.
This is a serious
there's
matter.
There's a time and a place
But
to
that's
talk
the thing.
about this
and
kind
we're
of
not
stuff.
bashing. And you know
No,
what?
we're not. But there's a time and a place. And we've all said things that are inappropriate at the wrong time.
Yes.
But that's my point. This keeps
Correct.
continually going on. To the point where,
You feel bad for him.
he made that joke about his hair leg. How, my hair's blonde. But when the kids rubbed it in the pool or the water and it came back up, I'm like, what is this even about?
Why is this on national television?
What is this even about? I need to drink about that.
No, and that's the thing. Like, even that's what we're saying. Like,
Like,
I think
what is going on?
it's just what is going on.
That's what I wanna know.
I genuinely feel bad for him. I do.
No,
as
I do. We're not bashing. But who's
Someone
holding
needs-
the puppet strings is what I want to know.
who needs. Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, this is not okay.
No.
This is not okay.
And it's sad because
really
I do
sad.
feel bad for him. Like my grandmother,
Yep.
she just passed away. I spent a lot of time in the nursing home, and it's like you see the elderly, and it's like they should be taken care of, and it feels like he's just thrown out there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't believe that this is like, and whether you like Biden or you don't like Biden or you love
That's
Biden,
irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
Or you like Trump, this doesn't matter.
But
Look
it's what
at
you're doing
the
to
facts.
a person. It's what you're doing to a person too. Putting someone
actually
on who's
embarrassing
not even
him.
competent. It is.
It's making him the joke of everything, and that hurts. Like, I
Yeah.
don't care what side you're on. It's that is our elderly, just like we have our youth that we have to worry about.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's all psycho. It's psycho. All right, so another thing, we mentioned, TikTok. So we're like talking about, TikTok's scary, but really what's embedded in that TikTok bill is that they're going to have the right to control anything on the internet. So yes, they're banning TikTok. It's potential. Yes, everybody's watching us through TikTok, blah, blah, blah. But what's really going on is what they're not putting in the media is that within that bill, they have the ability to ban anything on the internet. If they don't like it, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. And you can't access it.
And that's what kind of scares me, what you touched on earlier about just like opinions. Like, they'll...
Constitutional fucking rights.
Yeah.
What, we can't say that? You're
They
just
will
going to
censor
delete
you.
it?
They will censor you. And that's scary. That is scary.
It is scary.
Like, it's super scary.
Whatever
and
side you're on, we love everybody.
And like,
we want everybody to have a chance. We want everybody to be treated fairly.
And
this is bullshit. It's scary, and you have to understand what's going on. You have to see it. Look at the bill.
you don't have to agree, but you got to see that there's something bigger here.
We're just posing a question.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own valid points. You believe something for one reason.
Yeah.
I believe something for another reason. Fine. Just think and ask questions.
Well, remember that your freedom's really important. And that's the thing where I look at technology. I'm like, it's great. Like, you can tap your phone and pay for something in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's great.
Cool.
Social media allows you, like us, to get out there, be seen. It's great. But at what cost when we really look at it? And I'm not calling this conspiracy because it's not. We call ourselves hysteria researchers. Because I think you got to look at something deeper than just believing what someone's telling you. And, technology is great, right?
It is.
But
a lot of advancements.
At what cost are you giving up? Are you giving up the cost of, now we're going to chip you? Cashless society, Tesla, which I'm not against.
I love Elon Musk.
I love
you.
No,
I love you.
I love
you.
And I'm not against that. But at some point, does this get to the point where it's like, now we have control to shut this down, shut this down, shut this down?
Yeah, he had the technology,
and
but then
without us knowing it, we're kind of just going, sure. Oh, you can take this, sure. And it's like, but then we're forgetting that we have the freedom to say, why do you need all this information about us? Why?
Well,
and that's a problem.
I mean, this might be conspiracy what I'm about to say, but it's like, say we all have see with me neither, but I'm playing advocate because I know people don't view things the way I do or you do. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, so just hypothetically, we all have electric cars. Boom, software done. Car won't start, car won't turn on. They have complete control over where you go. You can't leave this radius of your city. They are already doing that. Where you have a radius that, look it up. We're not lying. Like this.
We don't want to get into that, but yes.
Okay, fine.
It's really happening.
You know what I do want to?
Really
okay,
happening.
So you know what sparked this whole podcast? I woke up this morning, and guess what? We all know the big chemical spill in Palestine, Ohio, okay? This is why we're doing this podcast, because I woke up this morning to CBS News, 40,000 gallons or pounds or whatever it was, the truck carrying the contaminated oil capsizes, flips over, spills. Now we have all this contaminated oil in another place. How many of these spills have happened in the last month or two? And that's it.
Exactly. And of course, we know that train derailments, happen.
They
and
do.
Human errors happen.
They do.
To
Train derailments happen a lot.
But the fact that there's so many,
carrying the chemicals.
No, it's a little terrifying.
It's Just look at the pattern.
It makes you at least want to question it, whether you believe it or not. It makes you at least want to look into it.
Texas. 18,000 cattle died because an explosion at a cattle ranch. How many food processing places have blown up in the last 2 years? How many? It started in COVID with the eggs. All the egg places blew up. Now Texas blowing up. Oh, what's the Dutch? The farming.
That's what I'm saying. Don't get me started on. Oh my God, the globalist climate agenda. And I'm whatever side you're on, I'm just saying these
doesn't matter what side
farmers are fighting for their land.
There are people like you and me.
They
work hard.
There are food shortages. There are cattle dying. The government wants to take over all their land, and it's like, why? These people are what feed us. Feed us.
I can't even say my thoughts because you have to make up your own mind.
And you have to make up your own mind, but I guess how I look at it is,
why
does the government feel the need to take over all this land that people had in their generations for lifetimes? And, they are the ones working their asses off.
Yeah.
To make sure the world is fed. Right. I mean, seriously. And I grew up in the Netherlands. I lived there for 2 years. Okay. You can talk
about the Netherlands.
You can blame it on the fertilizer and this nitrogen bullshit. Okay, they have the strictest rules there.
First of all, nitrogen is expensive. Nitrogen is expensive. They're not just throwing it around.
Exactly. They have really strict rules on how they even utilize it.
Right.
So, I have a huge issue with that one because I just think it comes down to fucking greed. I think it comes down to fucking greed.
They're trying to take over. They want property.
More. Like you said, they don't want us
or they want to control the food.
They don't want us to own anything. It comes down to fucking
Look at the shortages. Okay, this is my theory.
All the cattle dying.
The food shortages. Oh, we don't have any meat. Look at the trucker supply crap in Canada. She's from Canada.
Yeah.
The shortages. there's nothing, it creates this mass panic and this backlog of shit where we're kind of, our arms are twisted, and so we're all kind of at the mercy of whoever can get us our necessities.
And I think even bringing it down to when the world shut down, like, remember how, there were certain people that were necessities, so they didn't have to, like, have the juice or whatever, and they let them work. But, like, truck drivers, these are the people that are, supplying food, supplying
going border to border,
oil, supplying all these things. And it's like they live alone in their truck. Why were they forced, to the point where they had to have a protest?
That's the whole point of the trucker protest.
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
I was at the protest.
Yes.
My parents were at the protest.
Yeah.
And my point is exactly that. Why were they forced to have something when all they were doing was a necessity? And they were alone in their trucks. And now we're all allowed to live together.
It's just so crazy because now the CDC has publicly, and Bill Gates has publicly said it's less effective. Then a month later, oh, it's not as effective. Oh, it's not. I mean, you can look at these. These aren't things we're making up. These are things that are in the media. I think my
biggest thing, though,
make
out
up
of
your
it
own
all
mind.
is, there was a time where there was so much division, and me coming from Canada, like, you were fined if you had anyone in your household, okay? There was, like, regulations. So for me, and people were losing their jobs. In the States, people were losing their jobs. All over the world, people were losing their jobs. But my biggest
and we know a lot of people died from COVID. We're not saying...
No, it's not about that. My biggest thing was the regulations that they had. And now suddenly, flash forward 2 years, we're all allowed to live this normal life again.
Yeah, it's where to go. It's like anthrax. Anthrax. Remember when anthrax... so I'm 35. I remember being in high school and middle school, high school. Look at anthrax. Oh, it's in the mail. It's in the mail. And it just disappears after the election. Like, it's and so that's why I'm saying every generation goes through this, but this is...
And I'm not saying we're right or wrong, but every 2 years there seems to be something.
Yeah.
Ebola, H1N1, and then suddenly there's a
malaria.
Cure, and you never hear about it again.
And it's gone.
And my biggest thing was, like, you cost people's livelihood. You ruined people. And in my small town that I'm from, in Canada, which is Canmore, Alberta, they fired the surgeon for not taking the juice. They fired him.
Well, and he's a doctor.
We went for a year and a half or two without a surgeon in the whole town.
It's a really small town, okay?
You want to talk about medical needs?
Yeah.
You just fired someone who worked all these years. So
well, that's no.
I mean, I just can't.
We know there's two sides to every story. We're not bashing anybody. We're just trying to pose a question. Like, we really just think that everybody needs to drop the distractions. All the distractions. We're being fed bullshit to distract us from what's going on in the world. I mean, no matter what your viewpoint is, I know we have similar views. I know a lot of people in America don't. I have a lot of friends that might disagree with me, and I might disagree with them, but I still respect their opinion because they do have valid points.
That's where the maturity...
And we have valid points.
Yeah, and I think that's where maturity comes into play. Like, it's okay to think differently. It's okay to have a different religion. It's okay to have whatever.
Right.
And I think that's where...
But the media has really slandered, you're bad if you think this, you're bad.
And that's why people are maybe going to bash our video right now based on us thinking that we have an opinion. But that's my point, is... maybe learn to be open-minded to people having other opinions.
Right.
And that's where I think really society needs to get back to, is it's okay to have one. Be able to back it up. Why do you believe what you believe? And
I think people get defensive when the finger is pointed at them. Look at any relationship. Oh, you're cheating. And then they get all crazy. I'm not fucking cheating. Fuck you. You know what I mean? So if you point the fingers, you say, hey, listen. This is what I think, and you actually maturely talk about things without attacking someone. I think
people also get defensive though because they're only listening to one narrative, and they're listening to media. And I'm not saying media is right or wrong in every circumstance. I'm just saying that you need to do your own research, and it's not what a friend tells you. It's not what a person. Do your own research.
How do you do your own research right now? Everything's fucking fact checked.
But that's my whole point.
I know.
Is that's what bothers me, is why are you deleting one side of a discussion? Or why are you saying, oh, this isn't scientific?
Well, look at Twitter. When they're the whole Twitter big thing went on, the lawsuit, where they're what, do you have a medical degree? Where did you go to medical school? And she's like, I didn't. And it's like, so why are you censoring one of the most renowned doctors, Harvard,
Yeah, I watched
Stanford.
that. I watched that.
Right. Why are you suppressing their point? You're not a fucking doctor. Why are you going to shut them up?
We're not doctors or psychologists or politicians or any of that shit, but we are doing our own research. We are reading things and we're taking on the opinions that we believe are factual.
Yeah.
And so I think that people need to come to a place where it's like it's okay to have a different opinion, just like it's okay to have a different religion, just like it's okay to have a different way you do things. I mean, there is no really right or wrong. It just don't affect other people. And that's the problem. The world right now has been affecting so many fucking people, and that's our problem.
Well,
I think that's really what our problem
is. That's a play.
And that's what our
it's to divide. That's what we said. The segregation
comes from is that we're so fed up with seeing the world so divided
because
over things that
we love everyone, and most people fucking do care about other people. I'd say
I fucking hate people, but not in that way. I keep to myself because I'm so sick of the bullshit.
Yeah, but that's what they want. They want you to keep to yourself. Then you're
isolated. No, I'm definitely fucking vocal, but I like to keep myself because I think there's so many people out there that just need to fucking think with their brain more. You were given a brain, use it. Fucking use it. Sorry if that's harsh, but
I mean, otherwise it's going to come down to like survival. Charles Darwin, survival of the fittest.
I believe in that. After
I mean, obviously,
last 2 years, I believe in that. Are you a wolf or a sheeple?
Sheeple.
What do you want to be?
Oh, sheeple.
I'm done counting sheep in my sleep.
I want to go with the wolf pack.
We are wolves, baby.
Obviously,
we are wolves.
But I want I want everybody to be a wolf.
Just be happy.
That's my fucking point. I want everybody to be a wolf.
Well, I think in this world you have to fight for yourself, and I think since the beginning of time you've always had to fight for yourself. I mean, look at hunter and gatherers. You've always had to fight for yourself.
But I'm also a nurturer, and I want everybody to be
okay.
But that's the point of what we're doing.
But that's my point. You've always had to fight for yourself first, but then it's also important to bring people in as much as you can help. And I think that you and I really do genuinely. When I say I hate people, it's more like I hate the bullshit. I don't care. I don't need it in my life. But
a lot of it's
genuinely,
filler.
I want to help people.
Yeah,
like I do. But I'm also so sick of people just being so judgmental without even doing their research. Like, how about you figure out what you feel is right and then come talk to us, or come put the blame on that person.
Well,
or
it's
do
easy
whatever.
with even. I mean, Instagram is social. I mean, is the media.
I mean, I didn't even have social media till 2020, 2021.
I suck at social media.
I hate it.
That's why I hope
I don't care.
Podcast as well. I don't know any.
I will.
The point of the story is every generation has gone through this. The anthrax, like we said in our little poem, the anthrax thing. Where did it go? Has anybody heard about it? Do you see it in any history books? Yeah. No. And it's because this is the same cycle.
Yeah.
Every generation, they have found the tried and true, equation on how to mass produce. And they get a little better every single time. And I think we're at the point where this is absurdity. It's absurdity.
I think you're absolutely right. And when we talk about like the Jews, let's just talk about all these different things that seem to happen every election year. Okay.
Okay.
That aside, like, well, if we talk about like all the different vaccines over time and things like that, like we had a lot of years and research into them. And that's why, like, I'm not against that stuff at all. I was vaccinated as a child.
I was
lots
too.
Of things.
And I did with my children. And I grew up all over the
world, so I had to get so many different things.
But this is after 30 years. Look at the polio. Where you have the big
That's my
thing.
point. Is that
look at the progression.
No, but that's my point. Is you had years of research, okay, before you were implementing it on people. And so, whether you believe it's right or wrong, my thing personally is, I don't trust something that was so rushed and
unless they
without
were planning
research,
it
without research done, and there was incentives given. I'm sorry. If there's incentives for my health,
do you remember the video?
If there's incentives for my health, okay, if you're paying me $100 to go get it, why would I trust that? If I believed in it because it was for my health, I would just go do it because I'm like, hey, it's for my health.
Right. They're like,
so
push.
that's my biggest problem out there was like,
Fuck
as an
fuck
individual,
the
it wasn't
$100.
about what people believed or not. It was like, as my own individual, I was like, you're offering money?
Just smart.
Why are you offering me money? Like,
why
that doesn't
are
make
you
sense.
offering money?
You know, it doesn't make sense.
Like, push. That's what I was trying to say. I didn't want to interrupt, but it's like, fuck the $100. They were giving out fucking French fries. Did you see that video?
I want my life.
They were
right.
Look at all the there's
lottery tickets.
Excuse me. The media won't show you, but in London, I mean, they were having mass protests last month. Yeah. Mass protests about the vaccine, the injuries. Sorry. They were having mass protests about the injuries caused by those certain things.
And that's the thing.
And I know someone who was in a coma. Your, brother-in-law literally had a stroke. I mean, there are, and nothing's perfect. Look at the side effects of Big Pharma. Like, there's always something. Yeah. But this is, like, now affecting our children. Children are dropping dead.
Yeah. And it's scary.
Whatever side you're on, you better like your fucking kids. Okay? I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. Children are dying. And that's all I'm going to say on that. That's all I'm going to say on that. That's all I need to say on that. That's all I need to say on that.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't need to say anything else.
No, it's scary.
It is.
It's scary. At the end of the day, like, it's like, I know we got really passionate about our feelings a little bit. Yeah. But still, there is no right or wrong. And I think when people watch this, like, I want people to know that, yeah, we got passionate because we've had our own experience. I think everyone comes from a personal place and a personal experience. And so that's okay. Yeah. And so I want people to know when they watch this that, like, it's just, we've been through what we've been through.
Right. And that's what I kept saying.
We're seeing the way we see it.
Everybody has their valid points. Like, and that's the thing. We have to disregard the bullshit that they're feeding us. Like, we're all human beings with our own human experiences that have lost people. Mm-hmm. We've both lost people on either side. From anything. Yeah. On COVID and on the other side. Yep. It's like there's no right or wrong, and we don't want to perpetuate, like, segregation. Like, we need to unite right now. We need to come together. We need to be, in
a place where we can respect our differences but still love one another for the fact that we are different.
Just being compassionate. Right. Have empathy. Like, you know what? Maybe they aren't as educated as you. Or maybe I'm not as educated as you are. Or we've
just been through different experiences,
Right.
So
drop the fucking bullshit. Get the media away.
And if you go into your fucking research.
If you go into your neighborhood, I guarantee, for the most part, y'all love each other. Yep. You're not gonna go walk around and be like, oh, like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, without this perpetuated bullshit, everybody was nice. Like,
so we're gonna leave it at this.
Okay.
As we always complete every episode, this is really your life.
Yeah. Write your story. Live your dream.
And just don't give us shit.
Just don't give a... Yeah, did we change our...
sip.
At this point, no.
Sip, but don't give a shit. But I will
tell you something. Do give a shit. This is fucking crazy.
5, I'm not taking 5 boosters.
Stop it. And now we're cut off. But
I get to decide my life.
In all reality, we all love each other. We want the best for everybody.
So,
yeah.
Here's to United. Because that's what we believe.
Because we have freaking kids. We have kids to worry about. Yeah. And all this bullshit is just bullshit. Leave something good for our babies. Yeah. That's it. That is it.
Peace out.
Bye. Love you.